My name is Sienna Mercer, and I was 25 the night my parents took me to dinner to tell me I was adopted. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was the smile my mother gave me right before she said it. The kind of smile that doesn't come from surprise or emotion. It comes from preparation, like she had been practicing it for days. If this story hit something you've been carrying in silence, share your thoughts in the comments. You're not alone in this. 6 years later, I still replay that dinner in fragments. Not the whole thing, just details that never fade. The untouched breadbasket between us. My father staring at the wine list like it had answers he didn't want to give. My mother slowly smoothing the same wrinkle in her napkin, again and again, like she was rehearsing a confession she had already decided on. The restaurant was called Van Ter. I had never been there before, and that should have been my first warning. My mother never spent money without purpose. In our family, nothing was ever just nice. Everything had a reason, a return, a hidden condition. The reservation was for my 25th birthday, but there was no cake, no card, no gift. Just 3 people sitting under soft lights pretending this was a celebration instead of something else entirely. I remember thinking, this doesn't feel like dinner. It feels like a verdict waiting to be read. The waiter came. Drinks were poured. My mother complimented the restaurant. My father talked about traffic like it mattered more than the silence between us. Nobody touched their food, not even when it arrived. I'd worked around lawyers long enough to recognize patterns. People don't eat when they're about to deliver something they don't want interrupted. Then my mother folded her hands, and the tone changed. "Paige," she said softly, "there's something we should have told you a long time ago." My stomach dropped before I even understood why. Not because I didn't know, but because I suddenly realized something worse. They had rehearsed this without me. "We adopted you." The words landed heavy. Not shocking, not new, but hearing them spoken by her made them real in a way I wasn't prepared for. That's the strange thing about truth. Knowing it in private is not the same as surviving it in public. For a second, I was a child again. A cupcake on a counter. A birthday no one remembered properly. A family trip I wasn't included in. Things I once excused. Things I now couldn't ignore. My father finally looked at me. For less than a second. Then away. "We never meant to keep it from you forever," he said. Forever. 25 years of silence suddenly reduced to that word. I almost laughed. But I didn't. I just stayed still. Because something in me already knew this wasn't the ending. It was the setup. Then my mother said it, the sentence that changed everything. "We only kept you because it benefited us." For a moment, I thought I misheard her. Even the restaurant seemed to disappear. "What?" I asked. She smiled, actually smiled. "There were subsidies when you were younger." My father followed quickly. "There were financial considerations." Financial considerations. A phrase so clean it didn't sound real. It sounded like paperwork, not a life, not a child. And suddenly, my past started rearranging itself. The cold room I always slept in. The trips I wasn't invited on. The difference in how my cousin Brett was treated compared to me. At the time, I thought it was normal. Now it all looked organized, intentional. Like I had been placed slightly outside the frame of the family photo my entire life. My mother took a sip of wine like she was discussing weather. "The benefits ended years ago." A pause. "Now you're 25. Another pause. "You're not useful anymore." That word hit differently. Not painful. Clear. like something finally being admitted out loud after years of pretending otherwise. I wish I could tell you I reacted, that I stood up, that I broke something, that I made it dramatic. But real life doesn't give you scenes like that. Most of the time, you just sit there and realize what people think you are. My father slid a folder across the table. Legal documents. Already prepared. Already filed. This wasn't a conversation. It was confirmation. My mother watched me carefully, waiting for collapse, waiting for tears, waiting for the version of me she expected. And that's when something shifted inside me. Not anger, not sadness. Something quieter. Clarity. Because while they were explaining who I wasn't, I had already started figuring out who I was. 6 months earlier, after my grandmother died, I had started searching. At first, it was harmless curiosity. Then it became something I couldn't stop. Records led to names. Names led to numbers. Numbers led to people. Real people. My biological family. The first time I met my biological mother, I noticed her hands before anything else. They moved like mine. Even her laugh carried something familiar I couldn't explain. It didn't feel like meeting a stranger. It felt like remembering someone I had never met. And that terrified me more than I expected, because it meant something I had always believed was fixed wasn't. My identity wasn't just what I was told. It was bigger, messier, more complicated. So while my adoptive parents thought they were erasing me that night, they were already too late. I let them continue. I let my mother repeat her words. I let my father explain paperwork. Then she said it again, slower this time. We only kept you for the benefits. And suddenly, it wasn't powerful anymore. It was just honest. And honesty has a different weight when you've already stopped needing approval. I leaned back slightly. That's when my mother noticed something she didn't expect. I wasn't breaking. Behind her, I saw it. Table 9, 3 tables back. My biological mother. My biological brother. My aunt. Watching everything. My mother turned, slowly, then fully. The color drained from her face. For the first time that night, she looked uncertain, not in control, not rehearsed, just exposed. What is this? She asked quietly. I looked at the folder beside my plate, then at her, and realized something I never thought I would. Even if she apologized right now, I wasn't sure I could believe her. Nothing, I said. And it was true, because the fight had already ended months ago. The night I stopped waiting to be chosen. Silence took over the table. No one ate, no one spoke. My father rubbed his wedding ring like it could erase the moment. My mother stared into her glass like it might change. But nothing changed. And neither did I. 6 years later, people expect me to say it got better. It didn't. Some families don't repair. Some truths don't soften. Sometimes, all you get is clarity. And clarity doesn't feel like victory. It feels like distance. But when I think about that night now, I don't remember the betrayal. I remember something else. For the first time in my life, I stopped trying to earn my place at a table I was never fully given. And the silence that followed didn't break me. It freed me.